create or consume. That seems to be the two options that you have, especially in the age of information. You can go out there and create stuff with what you've learned, or you can continue to consume. And the problem is, the majority of people continue to consume because it's easy, and you can get into this stage where you think that are actually learning stuff, when in reality you'd be learning far more if you applied yourself and you tried things. And creating takes effort, no one is telling you what to do, so you have to be creative, obviously, but also you have to kind of take a leap of faith with what you're doing. When it comes to consuming, in this age of information, it is very accessible. It's free. You have to put no thought or effort into it in order to gain that. And there is some valuable information. There definitely is. But compared to stuff that just isn't valuable, that ratio is just extremely lopsided. So my advice is to find quality stuff to consume. Make sure you limit that and try to create more than you consume. When you think of artists or someone who's like an entrepreneur or something along those lines, I assume they're not on the internet or on social media 24/7 constantly. They're logging offline and creating their own life that's more fulfilling, and they're probably finding passion through that. What I've done since the start of 2026 is I've limited my social media consumption, and as a result of that, I have been creating more. I used to be in this state of constant consumption, but that really gets me nowhere when it's something as easy as being on like TikTok or Instagram, where a lot of that information is not valuable, but it can be seen as entertaining, and sometimes it is funny. So what I do limit that very much so, and as a result, I've picked up on the guitar. I know some songs on that, and then also, as you can see, I'm starting to post stuff on YouTube. So I'm working on expressing the thoughts in my mind and trying to deliver that in an effective manner. And then I'm also working with AI to kind of learn that skill. And I feel like that's very valuable, because you have two options with that. You can, consume AI, or you can create with AI. And a lot of people might have negative looks on AI, and I haven't really come to a conclusion on what I think of it. There's definitely pros and cons to both sides, and you should try to use it as a tool. But if you're constantly consuming maybe AI content, a lot of people call that slop nowadays, it's not valuable. You're not really learning anything from that. But if you kind of learn it as a tool and you apply that, it's actually really cool what you can create and what you can learn from that. So I recently listened to this podcast. It was actually today, where pretty much it was saying that people on social media, even on YouTube, the majority of people aren't creating, they're consuming stuff, which is, it's crazy. I think the number was less than 10% of people are creating. So yeah, just don't be afraid to create. And I think you'll learn a lot more by being in that mindset, and you'll find fulfillment by doing that instead of constantly clicking on another video or scrolling, because you're gonna forget that stuff. It's not going to mean anything in 2 weeks. You're going to be completely forgetful of what you watched. I think it's better to go out there and create something and learn to fail. And from that, you will learn something, a skill, resilience, that you just won't get from picking up these short-term gratitude ideas like this consumption mindset. I kind of went over this before, but like what I was saying with artists and entrepreneurs or someone who creates something, they are probably not on social media 24/7 watching what other people are doing. They're actually going out there and applying themselves. So I think that's all I have to say is, there's plenty of information that you can learn. And you can read books and stuff like that. But if you don't apply what you've learned, it pretty much means nothing. Like, one of these quotes I've heard is that the universe doesn't reward potential, it rewards action. So all this consumption that you're doing doesn't mean anything until you apply that action.